Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review, and if you've ever wished that your EDC light could also double as a tactical tool, this might be the one for you. And this is the Klarus X2. It's a flat style flashlight. It has just literally been released, and as you can see, it's pretty pocket friendly. It's slim and produces an incredible 3000 lumens. And this, I think, is Klarus's response to the Nitecore EDC23, which I've reviewed on a previous video. So if you want to see how both of these perform side by side, make sure you hang around till the end. So basically, in terms of how the light works, there's a couple of switches here on the back. Now the red switch gives you one-step access to the 3000 lumen mode. If you just press once, you get a 2000 lumen strobe, and there's also a few other hidden modes in here, so 1200 lumens, 300, 65 and 15. You can see just through that LED display. So everything you see here on the table is what you get with the light, and basically it comes with a 1500 milliamp hour battery. This is the box. If you want to pause the video, have a look at some of the specifications here on the side. You also get an instruction manual and a USB-C charging cable. So here's a little side-by-side comparison of the Klarus X2 next to the Nitecore EDC23. As you can see, they're very comparable in size. The X2 is probably just a smidge longer, a few millimeters longer, just due to this tail design that allows you to find and determine which switch is which. But in terms of thickness, it is actually slightly thinner than the EDC23 up the top there anyway. And I've got the Nitecore EDC29 here, and you can see both of these are significantly smaller. Okay, so here's a little close-up of the Klarus X2, and you can see here it's quite a nice build. It's CNC machined. It's a unibody design as well, so get better rigidity, better heat dissipation, rated at IPX6, and the anodization is quite nice. It's a kind of matte black anodization, and it's got a bit of grippiness to it. I wouldn't say that there's really any proper knurling on this light, so thankfully there is just a little bit of grip from that anodized aluminium. And yeah, it does feel pretty durable, well built for what it is. It also feels really light. It's just over 80 grams. It fits nicely in my hand. So the light has a couple of these tail switches on the back. That's how you operate it. And you can see basically one sits a little bit higher up just due to the design. So I believe that's just to, so you can discern which button is which. So you got the turbo sort of button there, and then the EDC, other kind of lighting options there. And you've got this low profile deep carry clip as well, which I like. It still leaves the top sticking out of your pocket slightly. And of course this LED display, and it will list the battery capacity up the top as well, what output you're on. Along the side you've got the charging port, so it's just underneath this rubber flap, USB-C charging. Looking down the head of the light, you can see there's a couple of LEDs in there, and I'm pretty sure these are SST70s, similar to the Klarus X1, and dual TIR optic in there, which leads to results in a smooth beam transition from the hotspot to the spill. And you've also got this proximity sensor right in the center. It's difficult to tell, just that darker area there on the front. And it also has the ceramic strike tips, so 4 ceramic strike tips, and the bezel is made of stainless steel. Okay, so let's run through the UI. And the red button, if you press and hold, that's how you get to the 3000 lumen mode. Press once to activate the 2000 lumen strobe. And you can see here on the screen as well, when you do activate the turbo mode, it gives you like a bit of a countdown. So before it actually steps down, and that countdown reduces to I think 8 and even 3 or 4 seconds once the light gets pretty hot. So you do get at least some type of indication of how long before the light steps down. This other button here, brings you to the other brightness mode, so 15, 12, so it's 1200 lumens, and you just continually press 300, 65, 15. So if you want it to remember the 1200 lumens mode, just press and hold to turn off. When you press on again, it will remember. Okay, so if I want to remember the 15 lumen mode, turn it off and turn on again. However, another thing you can do is just press and hold to shortcut to the 15 lumen moonlight mode. There are also some hidden modes in here. So if you triple press the red button, you get this SOS mode, and triple press again, there is a hidden beacon mode in there as well. All right, so I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests with the Klarus X2 on turbo, so the 3000 lumen mode, and you can see for the first 3 activations, I reactivated each time, you get about 15 seconds before the light steps down. On the 4th and 5th activation, I started to notice it stepping down earlier, so I think you probably get around 7 or 8 seconds, and then subsequent activations, you can see it steps down pretty much immediately. I ran a second ceiling bounce test on the 1200 lumen high mode, and you can see here, you get about 20 seconds of runtime before the light steps down to about 30% output, and you can see just after the 2-minute mark it steps down slightly more. So here are some tests I ran with my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and you can see here on the turbo mode I measured 176 meters of range, got the CRI measurements there between 64 to 66, and the CCT was between 5300 to 5500K. So a bunch of considerations if you're thinking about getting the Klarus X2. So basically this light doesn't have replaceable batteries like I mentioned before, but you should get at least a few years of casual use. If you're not charging and depleting the battery every single night for a year, you should be fine. The second consideration is the slim profile, and of course that is a byproduct of having one of those lithium polymer cells, those built-in lithium polymer cells. They really take up less room, so it's easy to fit this thing in your pocket. Really doesn't feel like anything in there at all, especially in your jeans pocket. But you know, there is considerably less heat sinking for sustained turbo modes. So yeah, I mean, compared to those cylindrical lights, there's just more material, larger heatsink, but it's impressive that you still get 15 to 20 seconds of 3000 lumens. I think that's pretty solid. The third consideration is that the beam profile of the X2 is optimized for more mid-range use, not extreme long range, you know, just barely hits that 175 meter mark, but it's still nicely balanced and a practical sort of beam. The fourth consideration is the IPX6 water resistance. So yeah, it's not submersible and it's going to be fine with splashes of water, you know, rain, stuff like that. But yeah, at least it has a higher rating than the Nitecore EDC23 and 29 series. I know many people were unhappy with that IP54 rating, and water was getting into those lights with heavy downpours, sweat, that kind of thing. The fifth consideration is that you can't disable the proximity sensor. So yeah, that might be annoying if you know, just demonstrate that there. You see, if you turn it on straight away, it will go to the step down. But when you remove your hand or whatever object's in the way, it'll step up again. But it does not activate, thankfully, on the turbo mode. So if we go 3000 lumens, you know, that's great. So in an emergency where you might need to use this for tactical sort of reasons, you know, it's not going to step down. Finally, in terms of the design, I just had a couple of things, more feedback, I guess, for Klarus. I just wish the buttons on the back were made of metal. And I know the Nitecore EDC23, it has metal buttons. It just gives it a more, I don't know how to describe, more solid sort of feel. And it's going to be obviously more durable having metal buttons. And also just having one of the buttons raised up a little bit higher, I think will eliminate the issue of you know, not being able to find or discern which button is which in the dark, rather than having this kind of sort of design here in the back where the one part sticks out. And another design consideration is these glass breaking beads. They're not removable, so yeah, if you're thinking of going past security checkpoints, bringing it onto a plane, you'd probably be safe just leaving it at home. Overall, the Klarus FlatTac X2 is a great alternative to the Nitecore EDC23, especially if you're looking for the perfect pocket rocket EDC flashlight. It's rated higher than the EDC23 in terms of output, but it doesn't throw as far. But still, I mean, you've got that tactical UI, one-step strobe, one-step turbo, which is something that I look for on most of my EDC flashlights these days. And it also has some lower modes that I demonstrated before, which makes it usable as a walking light, work light, or just for other low performance purposes. And really like the build quality as well. This unibody aluminium frame allows for surprisingly efficient heat dissipation. So yeah, if you have any comments about this light, let me know down below what you think. And if you have questions as well, comment below and I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, do me a favor, click the like button and share it with a friend, someone who might be interested. Just helps me to get my channel out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest flashlight news, make sure you subscribe. Klarus X2, this is on the 3000 lumen mode. Pretty impressive. And what I will do is just flick through some of the lower modes. So 65 lumens, 15 lumens, that's your 1200 lumen mode, and 300, 65, 15. So nothing you can do is go, say, if you're on the 1200 lumen mode or maybe the 300 lumen mode, is hold down the red button and you can get a burst of that 3000 lumen mode when you need it. So if you're using it maybe as a walking light or a general purpose light, it's just useful to be able to access that 3000 lumen mode. Look at that hotspot. It's enormous. Jeez, it is like pouring down. I didn't expect it to be this rainy. I thought it would stop by now. So I've got the Nitecore EDC23 to the left, and I want to do a side-by-side just again. So this is the Nitecore EDC23 and the Klarus X2 and EDC23. So you can see a little bit clearer now that the throw is better on the EDC23, but the overall beam pattern and hotspot is much larger on the Klarus, and it also lasts a bit longer on the highest 3000 lumen mode. I'll go for a little walk. Klarus X2 here, and this is the 3000 lumen mode. Gigantic hotspot. It's quite a practical beam. It doesn't throw as far as I would hope, but still tinting the trees at the back. Considering all this rain at the moment, it's not the ideal sort of day to take beam shots, but I had to do it. And I'll go through some of the other modes. So this is the 1200 lumen mode, 300 lumens, and 65 15 lumens, which aren't really visible here on camera. But yeah, that's the 1200, and you can sort of flip in between them. So 1200 now, and then the 3000 lumen mode here. So once you're in the 1200 lumen mode, just press and hold down the red button, and then you can sort of flick in between them both, which is great. Okay, now what I want to do is just compare and put my Nitecore EDC23 up to the test, compare both of them. So this is my Nitecore EDC23. This is on the highest mode, so the 2500 lumen mode here. Okay, you can see it does have a more throwier beam, okay, compared to the Klarus X2 here to the right. Okay, Nitecore EDC23 and the Klarus X2. So it does have extra range, but the flood and the hotspot, the size of the hotspot is just way larger on the on the X2, so in my opinion it's more practical, but for spotting long distance, you know, the EDC23 is still got a bit of an edge. Okay, I'll go for a bit of a walk with the X2.